Hi, everyone. Here's an introduction to the film Adaptation Project and reflective essay. The basic premise of the film adaptation project is that you're going to select one of the assigned readings from our semester and imagine that you are remediating it into a film adaptation. You're going to use one of the texts that we've read this semester as source material for a brand new film. The film adaptation project itself is divided into three key features. The first is a poster for the film adaptation, which will include a tagline. The second is a soundtrack featuring 5 songs. The third is a color palette featuring 5 colors. And the final feature is the reflective essay, a document of at least 500 words that explains the choices you've made in the creation of your poster, soundtrack, and color palette. Now I'm going to move through these features in a bit more detail. Here's a poster for a film adaptation of Angela Carter's short story, The Lady of the House of Love. Below the title, I've included a tagline, which is a line of text that I've pulled directly from the source material. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. I've chosen this tagline because the protagonist in The Lady of the House of Love is a vampire who has a tendency to target unsuspecting male victims. I've also included a release date, and throughout the making of this poster, I've tried to select visuals, including the background photo, the font size, the font color, the font type, to contribute to the adaptation's overall subject, mood, and tone. For instance, because The Lady of the House of Love is a Gothic short story, like many of Carter's short stories are, I would like for this film adaptation to be kind of a domestic Gothic film. So I've chosen some visual elements that contribute to that vision. This poster has been created using a free Canva template and a non-copyrighted image from Unsplash. And I've included links to both of those sites in the video description. But hang on a second. Because this is the final instructor video of our semester, I again want to reward those of you who are keeping up with them in real time. So if you're watching this instructor video before or on Sunday, July 24th, go ahead and send me an email, and I've provided my email there, of the title of your favorite book to film adaptation. If I receive this email before or on Sunday, July 24th, I will give you a bonus point on your final project. As I mentioned before, the second key feature of the film adaptation project is the soundtrack. For the purposes of our adaptation, I'm only asking you to pick 5 songs for the soundtrack. You'll need 1 for the opening credits and title sequence. You'll need 1 for the rising action of your film, 1 for the climax of your film, 1 for the falling action of the film, and finally, a song for the closing credits. You're welcome to include songs with lyrics, without lyrics, of different styles, of the same style, whatever you prefer, and whatever you think is most appropriate for your adaptation vision. The third key feature of the film adaptation project is the color palette. For this portion, you're going to want to pick 5 colors that you feel embody the tone, mood, and genre of the film that you're designing. So, for example, The Lady of the House of Love predominantly takes place inside a stereotypical Gothic castle. It's deteriorating, it's a little spooky, and of course, its main inhabitant is a female vampire. So I knew I wanted black and gray. I knew I wanted a couple of different kinds of red. And then finally, as a little pop of color, I'm imagining that this Gothic castle is decorated with different shades of a gold or a brass that are perhaps dusted with antiquity at this point, but are still there nonetheless. To create this palette, we're going to use Moozly, which is a free palette generator, and again, I've included a link in the video description. To pull back the curtain a little bit, my thought process in having you design a movie poster, a soundtrack, and a color palette is I want you to imagine how the literary devices that we've talked about this semester contribute to your overall understanding of a text. Elements such as setting, mood, tone, genre, plot, all of these features work together to help you imagine what a text looks and sounds like. And I'm hoping that incorporating these features into a film adaptation design can help you put that understanding to creative, constructive use. Finally, you're going to accompany these features with a reflective essay. In this essay, which will be at least 500 words, you're going to basically explain your design choices. To elaborate on these choices, you can answer questions like, which literary devices most informed your remediation? You can also think about which elements of fiction did you wish to highlight, revise, or otherwise tinker with in your adaptation. Because this essay is reflective and personal, you're welcome to use first person, but your prose should still be organized and presented in clear, polished paragraphs and sentences. I know that some students are going to be excited by the prospect of a more creative final project. However, I know there's bound to be a few of you who are sitting there and thinking, well, why can't I just write another essay? Why do I have to go through the motions of creating this film adaptation design? That's certainly a valid question, but to that, I just want to posit that this exercise will hopefully allow you to practice the literary devices, such as characterization, setting, mood, and tone, etc., and methods of interpretation that you've already been using all semester. Additionally, this assignment will prompt you to expand your understanding of alphabetic, digital, and artistic literacies. And I hope that you can transfer these skills to not only your other classes, but also to future careers or job opportunities. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any other questions, feel free to email me.